Well, I am going to call the City of Iowa City formal meeting to order. It is June 6, 2026, and it's just after 6 p.m. June 2nd, 2026, and it's just after 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Alter.
Here.
Burgess.
Here.
Harmson.
Here.
Moe.
Here.
Saleh.
Yeah.
Teague.
Here.
Wyland.
Here.
I want to welcome everyone to your City Hall that is here present in Council Chambers, and to those on joining us virtually, welcome as well. We have proclamations. We're going to start with 2A, which is National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas every day, nearly 130 people in the United States are killed by gun violence, and more than 200 are shot and wounded, with an average of more than 19,000 gun homicides every year, and people in the United States are 26 times more likely to die from gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. And whereas in Iowa, an average year has 362 gun deaths, with a rate of 11.2 deaths per 100,000 people. A crisis that costs the state $4.2 billion each year, of which $53 million is paid by taxpayers. Iowa has the 41st highest rate of gun deaths in the United States. And whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens go hand in hand with keeping guns away from those who are a danger to themselves or others. And whereas in January 2013, Hadiah Pendleton was tragically killed and shot at the age of 15, and on June 5th, 2026, to recognize the 29th birthday, which she was born on June 2nd, 1997, people across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute to her and other victims of gun violence and the loved ones of those victims. Whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadiah's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange. They chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods. And orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas by wearing orange on June 5th, 2026, people across the United States will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the hands of people who should not have access to them, and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep families and our communities safe. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, do hereby proclaim the first Friday in June 5th, 2026, to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day in Iowa City, and encourage all residents to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and to save lives. And receiving this proclamation is Temple Hyatt, and there's a lot of other people that she brought with. So come on up, Temple.
Thank you for honoring Hadiah with the proclamation in our efforts for gun violence prevention. Wear Orange is a time for groups, organizations, and communities to come together in our efforts to prevent gun violence. It is a time to recognize the grief, the anger, and the heartfelt sorrow. And tonight, our Muscatine neighbors are gathering to mourn. Wear Orange can be a time to reflect on our progress. Johnson County is a Be Smart for Kids partner. During registration, the Iowa City Community School District promotes secure storage and educates parents about Iowa's child access prevention law. Wear Orange is also a time to make connections so that city and county departments can work together toward a safer community. We know gun violence doesn't stop at a city border, so we must also build partnerships with our neighboring communities. In Iowa, 79% of our gun deaths are from gun suicide. The majority of suicides in Iowa, including children and teens, are gun suicides. We cannot talk about gun violence prevention in Iowa without talking about preventing gun suicide. And we cannot talk about suicide prevention in Iowa without talking about preventing easy access to firearms. I want to live in a society that normalizes conversations about access to guns, where we educate parents about including firearms in their safety conversations with kids, where we ask teenagers if they have easy access to guns, where we consistently ask gun owners to make a plan for removing guns in advance of a crisis, and where we normalize temporarily removing guns from a home, and where we provide options for out-of-home storage. I recently had a conversation with a candidate who told me his parents had a standing order that when anyone in the family lost a job or a relationship ended, they would remove their guns from the home. This is how we change the culture of gun ownership and normalize conversations about access to guns. Where Orange is also a time to recommit our efforts. We must take ownership of gun violence prevention as a community. We need our leaders to fund education efforts and to create space for collaboration. So I ask, how will you ensure we work more efficiently and more effectively toward ending gun violence? If we truly want a future free from gun violence, it will take each and every one of us working together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jess
Welcome.
Lang with Johnson County CVI. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for the proclamation and helping us spread the awareness of Wear Orange. One of the easiest things to do is put a reminder on your calendar for Friday, June 5th to wear orange to help spread awareness for gun violence. And I also want to remind people that gun violence we are not immune. Just a few short weeks ago, we had it happen right here, just a couple of blocks from us. We were fortunate that there was no loss of life, and it's that easy and it happens that fast. Marcus Brooks and I work with CVI's Community Violence Intervention. We work with people who are at high risk for gun violence, and we work to connect those people to resources and services here in Johnson County. That's employment, that's education, that's mental health services, substance abuse, whatever it is that those individuals need. We are very busy, and I thank our community leaders for helping the residents of our county make us feel safe, but gun violence is present here in Johnson County, and I want the residents to be aware of that. But I do thank you for your support, and wear orange on June 5th.
Great.
Thank
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello. Excuse me. Marcus Brooks, outreach worker at CVI here in Johnson County. I just want to say thank you as well to the City Council and the City of Iowa City and Moms Demand for the opportunity to come up here and just kind of say it's an experience for me to have this opportunity to understand how important it is to have these proclamations in place, and having or being a victim of that as far as gun violence and friends of mine is definitely an honor to be here. And I just want to say that we're all a team. And even though orange is for June 5th, we have to remind ourselves that every day we wear orange, because every day humans are important. So just wanted to say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody that came for this proclamation. We're moving on to item number 2B, which is Pride Month, and this will be read by Councilor Josh Moe.
Whereas June 2026 is the 57th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising in New York City, which is recognized as a catalyst for the modern LGBTQ+ civil rights movement, and whereas Iowa City has a diverse lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and questioning community and is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equality for all its residents. And whereas Iowa City has been at the forefront of advancing civil rights for LGBTQ+ people, beginning with the leading the nation in adding sexual orientation to a human right ordinance in 1977 and gender identity in 1995. And while steps have been made towards full LGBTQ+ community equality, members of our national, state, and local communities still face discrimination, exclusion, and prejudice simply for being who they are and for whom they love. And whereas discrimination against people from the LGBTQ+ community around the world make it imperative for cities like Iowa City to stand up and show support for LGBTQ+ residents, and whereas Iowa City celebrates LGBTQ+ individuals this month, while also recognizing the continued work necessary to build a more just and equitable state for LGBTQ+ people, and whereas June has been a symbolic month in which LGBTQ+ community members and allies come together in various celebrations of Pride, and during which Iowa City will recognize Pride Month by displaying the Pride flag at City Hall throughout the month of June. Now, therefore, I, Josh Moe, on behalf of Bruce Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2026 to be LGBTQ+ Pride Month in Iowa City, and encourage all members to participate in Iowa City Pride events and continue working towards a future where everyone is valued, respected, and included. And accepting this award today is Andrew Owens, President of Iowa City Pride.
Welcome.
Mayor Teague, members of the council, it's my pleasure and my honor to accept this proclamation today. This is my last year as president of Pride. I will be stepping down in August, and it really is my pleasure to be here. And also to remind the community, this is our 56th year of existence. We were founded in 1970, the year after Stonewall, and it's really something to, I will say, be a faculty member at the university, and this year to be recruiting graduate students and faculty who always ask the same question: why would I move to Iowa in this time? And I constantly bring up the fact that Johnson County is one of the places that I've felt the most comfortable ever living in my life. I am not a Midwesterner by birth, but I could not be more proud of this community. And even though, unfortunately, the three Regent universities have taken steps to not be able to support our communities in ways that we would like, hopefully we'll see change in that soon. And our festival is June 20th this year for, again, the 56th year, which we're very proud of and looking forward to. So, and one last thing I would remind, as I do all of my students, and as Councilor Moe brought up, Stonewall oftentimes sort of gets the facts wrong. People get a little bit of the facts wrong, and I would encourage folks to remember that the main catalyst of Stonewall were the efforts of trans folks of color, specifically a woman named Martha P. Johnson. And I would encourage us to, during Pride, to celebrate Pride in all of its capaciousness and in what that means in terms of not only sexual orientation, but also gender identity, in terms of race, and in terms of the intersectionality that we all celebrate. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, the next proclamation is 2C, Waste and Recycling Workers Week, and this will be read by Councilor Sala.
Whereas, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the eradication of many diseases in the Western world is due in large part of higher public sanitation standards resulting from effective garbage disposal. And whereas the proper collection of disposable of waste, recycling, and organic waste are integral to preventing litter and dump heaps. And whereas the city of Iowa City values and celebrates dozens of workers in public and private trash, recycling, and organic waste industry in our community. And whereas the city of Iowa City promotes environmental sustainability through reducing waste and increasing recycling and composting. Therefore, I, Mazahar Saleh, on behalf of Bruce Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, Iowa, hereby proclaim the week of June 17th, 2026 as Waste and Recycling Workers Week in Iowa City, and urge our community members to recognize the value role that collections and remove services from trash, recycling, and organic waste play in our daily life. And here to accept is Jennifer Jordan, the Resources Superintendent.
Good evening, Mayor Teague and Council. As Celia mentioned, I'm Jennifer Jordan, the city's Resource Management Superintendent. Thank you very much for the proclamation to celebrate Waste and Recycling Workers Week, which represents workers not only in the public sector, but also in our local private sector for trash, recycling, and organics collection, which, of course, I'm very biased in, but I think we do a phenomenal job here in the county, not just the public workers. Our division, the public workers, manage the city landfill, the compost facility, and the hazardous materials collection facility, as well as our curbside recycling program that serves almost 17,000 households with trash, recycling, and organics collection services. Our organics collections are a little bit different from most communities in Iowa in that we also have food waste collection, so we're very proud of that. We also offer a host of recycling centers across the community, both our full-service ones that you know about, like the Eastside Recycling Center, but we also have a great program of partner drop-off locations for things like batteries and light bulbs. So safety is a major factor in all of our work. So I'm going to talk a little bit about one of our programs and how we really focus on safety while we're talking about recycling and trash removal. According to Waste 360, which is a local national trade magazine, waste and recycling is the 5th most dangerous industry in the country. So let that sink in for a minute. Stuff happens all the time across the country. We hear about it in other communities. We occasionally have stuff happen here. It's all been very minor, which we're thankful for, but it does happen. So I'll summarize one of our programs to highlight how we offset some of those dangers. In 2025, we had 18 fires at the Iowa City landfill. During or in the aftermath of most of the fires, staff found batteries that were properly disposed. So to try and combat that, our staff members have worked very hard to expand battery recycling programs and opportunities over the last several years throughout the county. We now provide 12 drop-off battery recycling locations around Johnson County, and in 2025, over 10,000 pounds of batteries have gotten recycled. We've also in this year, have only had 2 fires to date. So hopefully there's a correlation and we continue to see that going in the right direction as we're able to recycle more. The program, besides attempting to reduce fires, also supports recycling of valuable metals such as lithium and nickel. This program is possible in part because of our amazing team of staff, but also because of the support of our partner locations, including both Iowa City Ace Hardware stores, the Earl May Garden Center, the Iowa City Fire Department, and multiple Johnson County municipal locations, including Coralville, North Liberty, Solon, Lone Tree, Tiffin, Oxford, and Hills. And if some of those are a surprise to you, we've just added 3 more in the last few months, so we're very proud of that. We greatly appreciate this proclamation to recognize the work we do in the waste and recycling industry as we work to ensure our communities are safe and sanitary. And thank you again for this proclamation.
Thank you. All right, and thanks to everybody for coming for the proclamations. We're moving on to our consent calendar items. Items 3 through 7. Could I get a motion to approve, please? And I also want to remove 6I for separate consideration.
So moved. Alter.
Second, Saleh.
All right. And anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. If you want to address anything on our consent agenda, except for item 6I.
So good.
Welcome. Please state your name and city you're from.
Hello, I'm Zoe from Iowa City. I would like to talk about 6N, the Orchard Court occupant transition plan. I was here for your work session, and I just wanted to give you some updated information on our situation, and I know that this has to do with what's written in our lease and the situation that a lot of us are in right now, which is that after I was the one that sent that email, and then this afternoon, after I sent that email, we received our notice. And so we are over in our lease. What wasn't stated before was that in our lease, the thing that they say is that if we are given 30 days notice within the termination of our lease, so if they give us termination of our lease in a date that is 30 days from the notice or less, then they will give us full security deposit and the $500. We are 48-ish days away from the termination of our lease because they said that they would be terminating the leases that we had renewed, and we have to move out at the end of our current lease date. So none of us are likely to receive any of that money. We have confirmed with the rental company that we will be receiving our full security deposits, but there's no guarantee that they would be nice to us and give us $500 because that's not what they legally are required to do, and unlikely, to be honest, with the way landlords act in this city. I would just like to say that security deposit that we are going to be getting back is going to be going straight into the security deposit for our next place, which is going to be more than we can afford, because at this point in time, I know that a lot of you haven't been in the rental market for a long time. Most of you own your houses. It's pretty bad. Even if you are renting within the lease cycle, you have full notice of when you're moving. You decide when you get to move. We don't get to decide when we get to move. It is difficult to find a place that is within your price range, fits what you want, and is in the location that is appropriate for your work, your school, whatever you're doing. And so I think that it is important for you all to consider that. I know that it isn't your decision to sell or demolish this property, but it is your decision to give them money in order to do that. And we are not asking for much. We are asking for a very small amount of that money, because right now I am, as of Friday, I will be unemployed because I'm a school bus driver. So this is a terrible time for me to have an extra expensive moving that I did not expect. And I also know that relevant in they gave us notice, but many people
Thank
didn't
you.
receive that letter. So
Thank
I want
you.
you to know that.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and city you're from.
Hi there. My name is Grant Mannering. I'm from Iowa City, and I just wanted to add on a little bit to what Zoe got cut off from, which was that we only know about this because we were able to actually receive a letter, which was like to be dropped off by a courier from the annex, stating the potential plan for the demolition to occur, and that there may be that we would eventually get the notice to evacuate. That was, I want to say, roughly a month ago, but it's very likely that there are several people who would be affected by this that never got that notification, and rather would only just be getting the notification now that we received today regarding the 48 days that we now know that we have until we need to vacate our homes. So in any discussion about how much money we may be allotted for moving, I just want to say that the two of us are in a although a bad situation, in a relatively better spot because we at least got some more heads up. But it's very likely that several, if not most, of the other tenants affected would not have gotten that notice. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you sign in right there for me, please? Thank you. Anyone else like to address any items on our consent agenda except for item 6I, which will be separately considered? Anyone online, please raise your virtual hand. Seeing no one, council discussion. Roll call, please.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wylang?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Could I get a motion to defer item 6I indefinitely, please? The staff is requesting.
Defer indefinitely.
Moved by Sala.
Second, Burgess.
All right. Any discussion among council? Roll call, please.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wylang?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Could I get a motion to accept correspondence for item 6N?
So moved. Alter.
Second, Harmson.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We are on to our opportunity for community comment, item number 8. And this is a time for anyone to address anything that is not on our consent agenda or not on our formal agenda. Is there anyone here that wants to speak on any item that is not on our formal agenda? Please raise your hand at this time. Seeing no one, we're going to move on to item number 9, which is planning and zoning matters. 9A, zoning code text amendment, code cleanup and state preemptions, ordinance amending Title 14 zoning code and Title 15 land subdivisions to clarify requirements and ensure compliance with changes in state law related to communication, tower facilities, and accessory dwelling units. I'm going to open up the public hearing and welcome Danielle.
Thank you, Mayor. Danielle Sisman, Neighborhood and Development Services. This ordinance has two parts. In the first part, staff regularly tracks needed updates to the zoning and subdivision codes based on discussions and experience administering those regulations. Most of the amendments in that first section in the memo are minor clarifications that improve understanding and consistency for residents, developers, and decision makers. The second part of this ordinance is the more substantive amendments, and those are based on requirements that the state has passed that we need to align our city codes with. So the minor code cleanup items, there's 14 such items in this staff memo, and these include things that are fixing typos, so outlined in that yellow box, references to outdated department names, old mapping technology, and cross-references to outside codes which have changed, so that accounts for those 4 items. Things that were missed when the code has been updated recently, very typically, when we make a code update, there are cross-references that we're also chasing down throughout our code. So we've missed a few, and we're cleaning those up at this point so that all things align. And then there are a few items here that need clarification, and these are sections of the code that sometimes seem to conflict with another code section. We're clarifying them, mostly just amending words so it's clear and consistent how those are being applied. We often, in our discussions amongst ourselves, have to kind of sort things out, figure out what the words on the page mean. When we come to those determinations, we like to be clear so that those are, consistently applied to everyone. In the second part of the ordinance, the more significant changes, there are only 2. We did another major batch of code changes recently. We found that there was some changes in 2015 related to Iowa Cell Siting Act, so cell towers, things like that conflict with our code language, so we're cleaning that up. And then the state of Iowa revisited the accessory dwelling units code that they passed the year before to just do some minor amendments on their part, so we're just catching up with that. Anytime we do text amendments, we always try to make the least change necessary to correct what we found or to align with state codes. So this shows you, again, where those ADU changes happened recently, where some of these other things that we are clarifying or amending came from, and that we're at this section here highlighted in blue. So staff recommended the adoption of the proposed zoning code text change, and at their May 6th, 2026 meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission concurred with staff's recommendation and voted to recommend approval by a vote of 7-0. Happy to answer questions.
Is the language change around the ADUs anything very substantive?
No, they tried to define terms. When they first made their ADU amendments, a lot of the cities were trying to work through what things meant.
Okay.
So this is their hopeful clarification to help the cities implement.
Okay.
So no, there were not large changes.
I just had a question, Danielle, about the least change sort of standard. Is that in terms of, can you just explain what that means?
These are meant to be minor. These are not meant to be substantive. So if we're changing something, we want to limit it to, we're just clarifying a little bit. This is not meant to rewrite any kind of substantive standard that we're applying. So we try to, fewer words, honestly, most of the time, fewer words, more succinct, keeping terminology the same throughout the code.
All right, thank you.
Hearing no other questions, thank you. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. If you're in council chambers, please come forth. Seeing no one, before I close the public hearing, just want to know if council is inclined to vote with P&Z.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I get a motion to give first consideration?
So moved, Wyline.
Second. Second, Mo.
All right, council discussion. Roll call, please.
Teague,
Yes?
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Sala.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. We're on to our regular agenda, item 10. 10A is Convey Gas Pipeline Easement. Resolution conveying a gas pipeline easement on and under portions of city property near the waterways treatment facility to accommodate distribution of renewable natural gas. And I'm going to open up the public hearing. And going to invite Eric Gores to lead us through this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a lot to add about this, only that as part of the renewable natural gas development we're doing down at the wastewater treatment plant, they needed to move the gas line outside of the right-of-way where it's located, as I understand it, at present, to a different spot on our property. So obviously, we want to accommodate that, and that's what we're doing here tonight.
Great. Any questions by council? Hearing none. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. If you're in council chambers, please come forth. Seeing no one, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Alter.
Council discussion.
Still excited about this project, thanks to Public Works.
Roll call, please.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Sala,
Yes.
Teague.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. 10B, Human Rights Ordinance Amendment. Ordinance amending Title II, Human Rights, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Section 1, Definitions to add a definition of sex stereotyping, and Title II, Human Rights, Chapter 2, Human Rights Commission, Section 3, Structure, to amend the Human Rights Commissioner terms to 2 years in accordance with state law. And this is the first consideration. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved, Alter.
Second, Harmson.
All right, we'll bring up Eric again.
Thank you, Mayor. Taking the second part first, as it's easier, there was a recent change in state code that changed and set the length of commissioner terms to 2 years. Ours are presently 3 years plus whatever time it takes to appoint someone new. So we have to comply with state code that way. The second and more substantive part of this is to address what council was aware it has been coming from the state legislature over the last couple of sessions. They've acted to constrain city abilities to protect civil rights. I know that this council feels strongly about that and is well aware of that already. However, we want to make clear that protections remain. And this ordinance is an attempt to clarify that one such protection is based on sex stereotyping. That has been a protected classification, and it has been the law of the land that it's illegal to discriminate based on sex stereotypes since the late 80s. There's a huge body of law that supports that. And sex stereotyping is sex discrimination. And sex discrimination remains illegal under both the state Iowa Civil Rights Act and our local human rights ordinance. So this ordinance is just an attempt to make clear that sex stereotyping remains illegal. That's something that is not allowed, and that folks who are gender nonconforming or who don't adhere to sex role stereotypes still have protection in the city of Iowa City.
Great. Any questions for Eric? I guess I have a question about, since we'll be required to go from 3 years to 2 years for our commissioners, if you can just explain what that looks like for the process.
Well, yeah, that'll be a little bit tricky. I think those who have already been appointed will serve out their terms, and then subsequent commissioners who are appointed will be for 2 years. I guess we'll have to spend some time thinking about the logistics to make sure that that doesn't result in a wrong number of commissioners, but I think we can manage.
Great, thanks. All right, anyone from the public like to address this topic? If so, please come forth. If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. Seeing no one. Council discussion.
Thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you, Ari.
Thank you very much.
Roll call, please.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10C, MidAmerican Energy Electric Franchise. Ordinance renewing and continuing the franchise granted to MidAmerican Energy Company, its successors and assigns to acquire, construct, erect, maintain, and operate in the city of Iowa City an electric light and power system to furnish, deliver, and sell electric energy to said city and its inhabitants for a period of 5 years. This is the second consideration, and staff is requesting expedited action.
I move that the rule requiring that ordinances must be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting which is to be finally passed be suspended, that the second consideration and vote be waived, and that the ordinance be voted on for final passage at this time.
Moved by Mo.
Second by Saleh.
All right. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? If so, please come forth. If you're in council chambers, please raise your virtual hand if you're online. Seeing no one. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Could I get a motion to pass and adopt?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Alter.
Roll call, please.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10D, MidAmerican Energy Gas Franchise. Ordinance renewing and continuing the franchise granted to MidAmerican Energy Company, its successors and assigns to acquire, construct, erect, maintain, and operate in the city of Iowa City a natural gas system to furnish, deliver, and sell natural gas to said city and its inhabitants for a period of 5 years. This is the second consideration, and staff is requesting expedited action.
I move that the rule requiring that ordinances must be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting which is to be finally passed be suspended, and that the second consideration and vote be waived, and that the ordinance be voted on for final passage at this time.
Moved by Mo.
Second, Burgess.
All right. Anyone from the council, anyone from the public like to address this topic? Seeing no one. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Could I get a motion to pass and adopt?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Alter.
Roll call, please.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10E, Eastern Iowa Light and Power Cooperative Electric Franchise. Ordinance granting to Eastern Iowa Light and Power Cooperative, its successors and assigns the right and franchise to acquire, construct, erect, maintain, and operate in the city of Iowa City an electric light and power system to furnish, deliver, and sell electric energy to said city and its inhabitants, and to enact a 2% franchise fee on the gross revenue derived from the distribution, delivery, and retail sale of electricity by franchisees to customers within the current or future corporate limits of the city of Iowa City. Staff is requesting expedited action.
I move that the rule requiring that ordinances must be considered and voted on for the final passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting which is to be finally passed be suspended, that the second consideration and vote be waived, and that the ordinance be voted on for final passage at this time.
Moved by Mo.
Second, Saleh.
Seconded by Sala. And anyone from the public like to address this topic? Seeing no one. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Teague?
Yes?
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Can I get a motion to pass and adopt?
So move, Burgess.
Second, Mo.
Alter.
Seconded by Mo. Roll call, please.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Sala.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. We're at 11, which is announcements of vacancies previous. 11A is Human Rights Commission, one vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointment through December 31st, 2028. Applications must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. Climate Action Commission, one vacancy to fill an unexpired term. Applications must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment, one vacancy to fill a 5-year term. Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment, one vacancy to fill a 5-year term. Board of Appeals, one vacancy for a licensed electrician to fill a 5-year term. Board of Appeals, one vacancy for an HVAC professional to fill an unexpired term. Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for a Brown Street representative to fill a 3-year term. Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for a Jefferson Street representative to fill a 3-year term. Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for a Woolon Avenue representative to fill a 3-year term. Vacancies will remain open until filled. We're at item number 12, City Council information.
Thanks to police, fire, public works, and ambulance for being at the farmer's market. There were a lot of very happy kids who got to climb into fire trucks and play around with big tractors and stuff. So everyone was real happy. So thanks for being there.
Also heard that the foot traffic was like much better there, so definitely it's something to consider for as almost like a permanent spot for when these go.
The permanent playground for the farmer's market?
Not permanent. I meant when you do the
Don't be too
big
good at something.
open house, when there's the open house.
Congrats to all of the high school graduates this past weekend in
Yes.
Iowa City, for City and West and
Tate.
Liberty and Tate. So maybe 3 in particular, but to all of them.
Yes. All right. We're on to item number 13, report on items from city staff, city manager's office,
Not tonight.
city attorney's office,
No, thank you.
and city clerk office. All right. Item number 14, could I get a motion to adjourn? And we're going to go back to our work session. But could I get a motion to adjourn from our formal meeting?
So moved, Wyline.
Second, Sale.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.